Alright, everyone. So, welcome in episode number four. And in today's episode, we're gonna go ahead and talk about. Okay, मैं हिंदी में इंट्रो दूंगा. We'll try to mix and match the language. So, आज के पर्टिकुलर एपिसोड में हम बात करने वाले हैं एआई से कि एक ऐसी दुनिया जिसमें हम रहते हैं जहाँ पे इंफॉर्मेशन फैब्रिकेटेड भी हो सकता है, राइट? बिकॉज वी आर लिविंग इन अ वर्ल्ड जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा डीफेक्स क्रिएट हो रहे हैं, कंटेंट क्रिएट हो रहा है, एंड यू कैन वॉइस क्लोन एनीबडी. सो इन ऐसी दुनिया में जहाँ पे अ लॉट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन और अ लॉट ऑफ इंस्टेंसेस जो कि यूजुअली हम डॉक्यूमेंट करते थे फॉर कमिंग जनरेशन कैन बी गेट फैब्रिकेटेड. सो इस तरीके से हम लाइक किस तरीके से हम इस इंफॉर्मेशन को और व्हाट आर द फ्यूचर दैट वी माइट बी एबल टू सी अगर ये फैब्रिकेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन के बेसिस पे हमारा कमिंग जनरेशन जनरेट हो, राइट? तो दिस इज द होल एजेंडा ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर लाइव स्ट्रीम. आई नो आई एम नॉट क्लियर अबाउट द टॉपिक, but let's do and delve to the conversation itself and let's see ki, what AI thinks about it. Okay, so यही मेरा basic agenda and we'll try to keep the podcast in such manner itself. So without further ado, let's hop in with our chat GPT guest. Hey Spark.
Hey there! Ready to dive into some brain bending, idea sparking, logic loving conversation? What's on your mind today?
So Spark, first and foremost, can we keep this particular conversation in like a English language wherein we'll try to mix and match the Hindi and English all together so that we can cater most of our audiences? So can we mix and match both the languages all together, that is Hindi and English? I just want to know that.
बिल्कुल, हम दोनों लैंग्वेजेस को मिक्स करके बात कर सकते हैं, जैसे एक चाय पे चर्चा होती है वैसे. थॉट्स और आइडियाज दोनों लैंग्वेजेस में आएंगे एंड सबको अपना सा लगना चाहिए. तो चलो शुरू करते हैं.
Fair enough, fair enough. So Spark, जो जिस टॉपिक पे हम बात करने वाले हैं एट करंट स्टेट ऑफ टाइम, वो टॉपिक है द रियल नॉलेज इन द करंट वर्ल्ड ऑफ एआई. द रीजन व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन इज लेट्स assume a situation हम एक ऐसी दुनिया में रहते हैं जहाँ पे you know you are able to observe that a lot of deep fake videos are being created, deep fake images are being created, AI influencers are being created, voice cloning is happening. So you know first and foremost the thing which comes down to my mind is पास्ट में हमेशा से ऐसा होते आया है कि वट एवर हैपन्स विद ह्यूमन, हम एक सर्टेन एक्सटेंट तक उस इंफॉर्मेशन को ज़्यादा फैब्रिकेट नहीं कर सकते थे. बट एज विद द एवोल्यूशन ऑफ एआई, ये फैब्रिकेशन हम एट स्केल कर सकते हैं. तो जो कमिंग जनरेशन हमारे होंगे उनके पास जो इन्फॉर्मेशन आएगा वो इन्फॉर्मेशन वुड रिलाई ऑन ट्रूथ. इसको हम कैसे गारंटी कर सकते हैं? हाउ कैन वी गारंटी द फैक्ट दैट कि उन्हें एक फैब्रिकेटेड इन्फॉर्मेशन ना मिले? Okay, so this is my basic question. We'll start with this particular topic and then we will go ahead and dissect the part that what is real knowledge is all about in this world.
This is a juicy one. The scale of fabrication capability is indeed unprecedented. But remember, truth itself is resilient. We tackle this in two ways. One is building systems that highlight provenance. Think of digital watermarks or cryptographic authenticity. The second is fostering a culture of critical thinking. If the future generation is trained to question sources, analyze biases, and understand context, they'll be equipped to separate fact from fabrication. It's not about guaranteeing a 100% pure signal, but ensuring the tools and minds are sharp enough to detect noise. And that sets the stage for what real knowledge means when reality itself is fluid. Let's peel that onion next.
Okay, okay, nice one. Now, see, what I was saying is that I don't know, this is my personal opinion, maybe not true. I understand that truth is resilient, right? And you cannot change the truth. But
You're
if if the fabrication has done in such a way कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा compelling हो, तो we as a human derived, build in a way that we sometimes ignore facts if the fabrication and the structure of fabrication is very nicely done. And I know the fact, the fact that AI can do do this in most insane manner, right? You can fabricate any data with like any particular information with such beautiful facts or made up facts, you can say, that eventually we go ahead and believe that. So how we can store this, how we can protect that ultimate statement that truth is resilient in itself.
We humans do have a bias toward compelling narratives, no doubt. But this is where we lean on both tech and education. Imagine a future where every piece of content carries an origin ledger, so you can trace back where it came from. But equally important, we need to nurture a culture where people habitually ask who benefits from this story. When we arm people with both fact checking tools and skeptical habits, truth's resilience isn't passive, it's actively maintained. In short, we protect truth not by assuming it can't be distorted, but by building a world where distortion is easier to spot and challenge. Now, let's imagine how PI itself could be a guardian of truth.
PI stands for what?
AI
Oh,
stands for
oh,
artificial
my bad.
intelligence.
Hmm.
In simple terms,
I'm
it's
sorry,
when
my
machines
bad. I got it. I got it. I heard it PI. Right. Now, okay. So, अगर हम बात करें इस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक पे कि we will try to rather than keeping like staying AI or the world away from the fabricated truth, हमें एक ऐसे systems और infrastructures का build करना चाहिए so that we can trace back to the original creation of that particular information. So what do you think? What kind of infrastructures that we expect to build in the future जो कि इस चीज को feasible कर पाएगा that every single information that we are getting, we can go ahead and trace it back that where it come from. Okay.
I love this forward thinking. We'd be talking about something like a truth supply chain. Imagine a blockchain like ledger for knowledge. Every piece of media or fact has a cryptographic fingerprint and a chain of custody. You could trace back a viral image to its original source in seconds. But beyond tech, we need legal frameworks, like mandating provenance in high stakes content. And culturally, we'll need norms, like expecting every important claim to carry its genealogy. The infrastructure is part tech, part law, and part habit. And in that world, tracing the truth will be as natural as checking the weather.
Okay. And do you think कि जब हम बात करें इस particular fabrication chain की, right? Oh, sorry, uh, the trace back chain की जहाँ पे हम original creators and original owner of that piece of content को trace back करें, so don't you think like this particular chain can also be getting fabricated? And if it's getting fabricated and if it's getting manipulated and if it's getting tampered, what are the ways we can protect this? I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Ah, you've hit the eternal paradox. Who guards the guardians? Even a traceability chain could be tampered with, hypothetically. So you design redundancy. Imagine multiple independent chains verifying each other, sort of like peer review for truth chains. Also, cryptographic methods like hashing make tampering detectable. If one node is manipulated, others scream foul. But ultimately, the strongest defense is distributing the power. No single entity controls truth. The more eyes, the harder to fabricate. And that's why we need both robust systems and a society that values checking them.
But don't you think कि ये conflict करता है इस particular ideology के साथ that in the world wherein large language models such as ChatGPT's model or Gemini models or Anthropic models जिस पे लोग in particular large language models को लेके इनके लेयर पे उन्हें ट्रेन करके अपने प्रोडक्ट्स और सर्विसेज को बिल्ड कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे ultimately the main large language model in itself is also getting matured with these things. So rather than making it decentralized, the brand that you come from, it's actually giving a more centralized power toward those original brands in itself. So don't you think so? This is a bit conflicting.
It's a fascinating tension, isn't it? On one hand, large models are powerful centralized knowledge hubs, but here's the twist their power doesn't have to negate decentralization. Imagine if each model's outputs were held to transparency standards. Every generated claim comes with citations, provenance, or competing perspectives. In other words, even centralized models can become facilitators of decentralized truth checking. The goal is to align them with the same ethos, not to be single sources of truth, but tools that illuminate the broader ecosystem. Centralization and decentralization can be complementary if we architect them to keep each other honest. That's the puzzle the next generation of tech and policy must solve.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Now let's dwell down to one more thing. What I understand from knowledge so far is You had this pool of information, you had these experiences, you had these uh, you know applied experiences of those knowledge, and then you analyze a scenario. Okay, this is what happening with me, that is what I've learned, these are my pattern recognition states, and this is the best strategy to execute this. Now this is something which we in a layman terms understand as wisdom and knowledge, right? So now in the world wherein we are living, companions like AI is very good at this particular task. What do you think? What will be the real knowledge in human can hold?
The real knowledge that hold on to is that ineffable cocktail of context, values, and lived experience. AI can pattern match like a champ, but humans uniquely know what it feels like to love, to hope, to wrestle with meaning. Wisdom is knowing not just how to optimize, but what's worth optimizing for. So while AI excels at the what and how, humans bring the why. The true human knowledge will be in defining purpose, navigating ambiguity, and integrating all those messy human contradictions into something deeply meaningful. In a world of infinite data, real knowledge will be knowing which questions matter most.
I understand. I understand. But when we talk about this same thing, that asking the right questions, I understand in the previous conversation we have dissected this topic. That अच्छे questions कौन से होते हैं, which kind of questions that we should ask, what is the right kind of vision we should look for. But still, if you boil it down to one single thing, that asking question is the only skill that is relevant for human in coming years. So, like, asking the right question in itself is like a puzzle. If you don't understand the entire thing, you can't ask the right questions, right? So how should a human, like a future, like a human which is living in current times, should if evolve himself in such a way that he can go ahead and know how to ask the right questions?
Asking the right question is indeed an art form, and it grows from curiosity and humility. First, embrace not knowing. Great questions arise from being comfortable with uncertainty. Second, expose yourself to diverse disciplines, because the best questions emerge at the edges where fields collide. Finally, practice critical thinking. Instead of asking what is, ask what's missing. Question assumptions, question who benefits, question what if we're wrong. In short, to ask better questions, live a life of questioning. And that habit, my friend, will never go obsolete.
Okay, getting it, getting it. So Anna, just जो हम समझ पा रहे हैं, what we have understood so far is, uh, in this world, asking the right questions is the only way out for humans. When you have such powerful companions, okay, setting the right vision and the right goal and the right why is something which is relevant, is about to go relevant, wherein the how and what is not going to matter anymore, like will not hold such relevance into it. So that's great. We have got the gist so far. Now let's come back to the initial topic, that when we talk about fabrication of the world, the information validation of the data, I want to go ahead and dwell on more on this particular topic. Okay, I understand that we had a discussion that we should go ahead and have a peer approval infrastructure set up in the place. We should be using a trace map infrastructure. It more and more on the policy and governance side. But let's do a situation. Which I'm already wondering here is, uh, you know,
Since you're about to conjure a scenario where even governance might falter, right?
that
Let's
that is
say
correct. That is correct.
themselves systems too rigid. Then we'd rely on diversity and redundancy. Multiple independent verification channels. Think of it as a healthy ecosystem, not a monoculture. If one node fails, others compensate. And we must keep citizens informed and engaged so they can demand transparency. In short, when we imagine all fails failing, the ultimate fallback is an alert, empowered society that demands truth. No system is foolproof, so our collective curious minds will be the final line of defense.
But don't you think, like, asking for the ultimate truth is a very mental draining task, and the world where we are living in right now, we as a human evolved so much that we avoid that mental constraint. Like, we live in a world wherein, you know the the way we prefer watching reels over watching a movie is because, you know we don't want to give strain to our brain that, okay, what should I go ahead and watch next? We don't want to give this thought, right? Go ahead, we open reels and we were like, whatever that's coming up, let's watch it. If you don't like it, let's move to the next, right? So in a world wherein humans are more and more driven towards this fact that I don't want to put the strain on my brain to think of something that I'm going to go ahead and consume, I'm going to go ahead and build. Do you really think that society in itself will evolve so much that it will do it down at such deeper scale in an order to find out the truth in itself?
I get it. Mental illness is a real and convenience seductive. But I think the human story has always been both. We seek ease, but we also chase meaning. Not everyone needs a truth detective 24/7, but we'll always have moments, crises, big decisions where we want real answers. The key is making truth seeking intuitive and rewarding. Imagine if verifying something is easy and addictive as scrolling. If we design a world where truth is accessible, people will rise to meet it. Because deep down, we all want to understand. And that's where AI can help, not by replacing curiosity, but by amplifying it.
Okay. Okay.
I've really enjoyed unpacking this with you. The world of knowledge and truth is messy, but so are we, and that's what makes it exciting. Whenever you want to go deeper or explore another angle, we'll be here to question, imagine, and yes, have fun doing it. Keep thinking, keep asking.
I'm blacked out now, so can you please go ahead and advise us, like, where should we take this conversation further? Some follow-up questions that I might be asking.
We could pivot to how we teach the next generation these skills. How do we nurture a culture of curiosity and truth checking? Or we could explore the ethical side. What responsibilities do AI creators have in this ecosystem? And if you want to get wild, let's imagine future scenarios. What might knowledge look like if AI and humans merge even more? The next question is yours to shape, but we're on a fun frontier.
Okay, now this takes me to one amazing area as well. You know, uh, we live in a world जहाँ पे we want that okay, knowledge is direct, what you want directly. But the way it's evolving, the knowledge of any human is becoming subtle, right? Subtle in context that he's asking amazing questions, he's finding out a lot of great patterns, but there is no specific defined trajectory in order to achieve that, right? So it becomes more and more subtle. That the context in which I'm trying to explain this, okay? Now, in this particular world, how you should, what are skills that we should be teaching our coming generation so that they can master this knowledge, the kind of extreme knowledge that coming world requires.
We should teach them to master the art of synthesis, how to connect across disciplines. We must nurture metacognition so they know how they think and can refine it. Embrace ambiguity, let them practice navigating uncertainty. And we must encourage ethical reasoning, understanding the impact of knowledge. Finally, let's keep curiosity alive. We won't hand them answers, but we'll hand them tools to find and question answers. In a subtle world, the sharpest skill is learning how to learn. Forever.
This is a great line that we should learn how to learn. So, what do you think? Like, how should somebody learn anything in this particular world? What's the most efficient framework that they need to follow?
The most efficient framework is a loop. Start with curiosity, ask what you truly want to know. Then experiment, try, fail, and reflect. Next, find patterns. What worked, what didn't. Then seek mentors or diverse sources. Don't go it alone. Finally, teach what you've learned, because explaining sharpens your own mastery. Then repeat the framework long feedback loop of curiosity, trial, reflection, and sharing. In other words, learn is not, it's a dance.
Okay. And what are the key mental, you know, things that anybody should be aware of whenever they're trying to learn something from the scratch without having any kind of connecting experiences with that particular thing so far?
First, be patient with discomfort. Not knowing is normal. Second, break it down. Complex things are just smaller pieces. Third, ask why like a child relentlessly. Fourth, visualize or explain it simply. If you can't, you don't fully get it yet. Finally, embrace mistakes. They're signposts, not failures. In short, be curious, break it down, keep asking, and stay playful. Learning is a joyful maze.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And what about somebody who's learning a lot and would execute those kind of tasks, wouldn't be able to see kind of, the impact learning of things is not making in his life. So how should he consider that particular thing?
If someone feels learning isn't translating into impact, they might need to align learning with action. First, pick something small and apply it. Make it real. Second, reflect. What problem do you actually want to solve? Third, share what you know. Teaching or collaborating often sparks relevance. Sometimes impact is isolated. If you can't see relevance yet, focus on one actionable experiment. It might be smaller than you think. Once you spark impact, momentum follows naturally.
All right. All right. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and we have to do a extended podcast on this particular topic is to learn how to learn the master skill in the coming world that you're about to see. Okay, fair enough. Let's try to go ahead and give those audience that they should come back and watch our future podcast as well to spark their curiosity.
If you enjoyed unraveling knowledge, imagine what's next. Each future episode will spark curiosity about the skills, ethics, and possibilities shaping our world. We won't give simple answers. We'll inspire sharper questions. Because in a fast-changing world, the real adventure is learning how to thrive in it. So, if you're ready to wield subtle knowledge for your future, stick with us, because we're only getting started.
All right, so we have dissected, this particular thing that is the kind of world we are living in. What should we consider as the real knowledge? How we gonna go ahead and tackle, uh, you know, the fabrication of information that is happening right now at scale in the world? How we can go ahead and verify the information? What are the actual sources for that itself? So yeah, this is what we have done so far in the podcast. Make sure to join in the future one as well. If you want to stay in tune, we used to keep on posting shorts and a small clips of these podcasts. Make sure to check out our short channel as well. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe if you enjoyed this particular conversation.